Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Alana DeGrassa, and I want to welcome you to this Business Mastery course, Creating a Social Media Blueprint. Welcome. I would encourage you to grab a pen or something to write with, as we have plenty to discuss today. My name is Dr. Alana DeGrassa. I'm the founder of Turning on the Lights Global Institute. The Tolgi rationale: advancements in technologies, communication systems, global business opportunities, and transportation contribute to increasingly diverse social systems. In today's world, you routinely encounter products, media, ideas, and other people from different countries and cultures. Development of technological innovations, global strategies, communication infrastructures, and intercultural business landscapes offer increasing demands to companies, organizations, and professionals to consistently engage with prospects, brands, products, and services. These abilities are fostered in the business transactions encountered on a domestic and international level. Leveraging the use of digital technology allows small business owners to meet the needs of their constituents in a tactical way. Dr. DeGrassa guides clients from Fortune 500 companies, small businesses, womenpreneurs, and individuals to design their digital persona. Her expertise in new media, content creation, and strategy has given her the nickname of the DigiGal who inspires. Today, we will explore explanation of social media branding and engagement, social media and the globe, social media tools, and give you opportunities to send in your questions. Our learning outcomes: we'll analyze the use of social media for business, think about the selection of platforms for brand management, distinguish audience demographics when we think about the service we provide, look at social media management, and indicate challenges of social media use. According to the Webster Dictionary, social media consists of forms of electronic communication, such as websites for social networking and microblogging, through which users create online communities to share information, ideas, personal messages, and other content such as videos. Did you know that 73% of online adults use social media? There's an overall shift in consumption, and this continually is on the rise. A study by the Pew Research Center indicated that all internet users is continuously showing a rise, and we even see that senior citizens are beginning to access the use of social media platforms to either start businesses at a later age in life or to just simply connect with loved ones. But overall, we can see for sure that social media use is on the rise. So when we think about social media platforms, what does that mean? Many of you are already on Facebook, but there are other tools like LinkedIn, Instagram, Google+, WhatsApp, Meetup, and many others like Snapchat that you can consider. But if we were to look back at the evolution of communication, we'd have to absorb the idea that, communication has been evolving over a period of time. See, traditional communication was the basic idea where two people would have communication. One person speaks, the other listens, the other one responds, and the other one takes action, or, the conversation continues. But then we had the advent of mass media, where newspapers, radio, video seminars, and conference calls could all be done from one large entity sent out to thousands of followers, viewers, or listeners. But along came social media. Along came the use of Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Audible, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Udemy. And a lot of people wondered, wow, what does this mean for me on a personal level and on a professional level? So you see, social media has evolved over time. If we look all the way back at 2004, Flickr was launched. If we look at 2008, Facebook began to take more precedence over the social media use of MySpace. And then, how could we forget the lovely Ellen DeGeneres, who actually had her first selfie be seen as the most retweeted tweet of all time. And then, of course, in 2012, Facebook reached 1 billion users. Pinterest became the fastest site in history to break through the 10 million unique visitor mark. Google Plus was launched in 2012. And even today, we can think of new applications, like that of, Snapchat and all of the features that Snapchat has, or even the Instagram stories that we saw recently, or Facebook Live. So it's amazing to see how, with time, these slow changes allow us to have what we call the social media norm. So we have to realize that with all of this shifting, we are leveraging the marketplace. It will be essential for all of us to remember that adaptation is necessary for business survival, or making sure that your concerns about a given organization or service is continually taken seriously, because there are shifts in the communication industry. There are also opportunities, e-platforms being created, where many companies are doing MOOCs, or these specialized trainings on demand. We have digital training within institutions. Small businesses are able to benefit, and 70% of all individuals who are in different industries indicated that they saw social media as vital for driving traffic to their websites. So what does this all mean? Well, we do live in a Web 2.0 world. There's virality capability now. There's the opportunity for a boost in sales. There's asynchronous training where people can learn about your service, business, or product at their own time. And then we have global participants. With the use of social media, our world is able to interact with each other in a much fluid way. So there is power in social media, and we want to be prepared for the 21st century. One can also think about how they can reach their intended target market when they think about social media use. You can also use social media to create a community surrounded around a given cause. Think about the GoFundMe pages and all of these platforms utilized to help individuals raise money. You can also build a loyal client base. So maybe you're a brand and you have a wonderful vlog series, or maybe you have a certain mission that you're all about. And maybe, for example, you could say, well, I'm all about this particular disability and I want as many people to learn about it as possible. Well, you can then begin to use social media to build that loyal fan base. And then you may also use social media to attract new investors for a given project. There's something really valuable about being able to show, a testimonial about how your service was able to help someone else, or a video that highlights the services that you provide and the way your solutions help to, answer certain problems. When I think about using social media as an author, as a creator of content, as one who helps women to believe in their capabilities, I'm always thinking about the kinds of images I want to reflect on any of my social media platforms. So here you can see images of women that evoke a certain heart point. An image of someone getting a hug after receiving a book, or me standing there to show you that I've written a number of books. So social media can be used for leadership, for niche groups like womenpreneurs, for social marketing. And again, the biggest thing is to remain authentic in the process, because a lot of times people may get sidetracked and say, oh, I just want as many followers as possible. But the key is to be so authentic that your specific users really know that they can go to your website or your blog to get what they need. So you really want to keep that in mind. So social media and brand marketing. When you think about that, I love this infographic because it clearly shows us that, we can kind of create our own digital footprint. When you think about your brand, when you think about the desire to create partnerships, loyalty, or to explain your persona, or your ability to establish community, you can then see that your idea here is to grow your constituent base, to grow those interested in who you are and what you have to offer. So did you know there are 6.5 million users, in Africa alone. And we can look at this case study of Maureen ISL. See, Maureen lived in a place where there was a high unemployment rate for young adults. And she decided to use digital courses to help young people learn how to become entrepreneurs. She allowed individuals to learn tools and techniques as to how social media can help them create viable companies or maybe create vlogs or learn more about different industries. So she was able to be not only very informative to those in her country where she's from, but she also was able to give them tangible skill sets where they could actually find use in their own personal lives to help themselves and then thereby help their families. But social media can also be used for disaster management. I remember when we had snowed out Atlanta and many people were stuck on the highways for over 24 hours. Luckily, a brave woman decided to form a private Facebook group. And in that group, everyone was in there engaging and trying to understand where their loved ones were. Do you know that because of her simple action of using social media, she was able to galvanize people to give blankets and food and to find loved ones stranded on the highway? So in the same way, maybe you have a pressing concern, something you want to do to help others. Social media can be used to create that bonding and that community. Also, as mentioned before, asynchronous learning is wonderful. So schools like Walden University and Capella University capture students who are wanting to learn online. But you may be someone who decides to create your own digital course or your own digital training. And a lot of people can have access to what you provide simply by you being able to find a way to share with them a solution to their issue. So you want to think about that because online learning allows individuals to have interdependent skills. They are able to then also develop what we call internationalization, being able to create situations where individuals from all over the world can engage. So if you know that Instagram has about 500 million users, imagine the kind of perk your company can have by really reaching out to all of the people who are interested in your particular service. So keep all of that in mind. But there are some social media challenges. A lot of times, many small business owners, especially if they've been in business for a long time, or maybe if they're part of the boomer generation or Gen X generation, there's a lot of apprehensions about social media use. But we're not talking about social media use for personal engagement. We're talking about social media use for your business. And I know that some of the challenges are, number one, you might feel completely overwhelmed. Number two, if you're very new, you might not be certain about which decision or you should make for picking a platform to start with. The third piece is that authenticity or unfamiliar with strategies of social media can cause someone to feel like, hey, this is not for me. I don't even want to try. And then lastly, if someone had a negative testimonial or a negative experience, they are less likely to think that social media can be useful for them. So keep in mind, I am aware of the apprehensions that you might have about using social media. But again, you want to keep in mind your why. Why is this company or this service that you provide so important to you? When you think about your brand, how can you access all of these social media touch points in a manner that really highlights who you are within your given brand? So I want you to remember that social media use for really spreading awareness about your company is about how you tell the story. It's about your narrative. It's about how you want to think about how you can garnish more leads and how you can target individuals. So every time you think about a social media post, I want you to start thinking about what story it is that you're trying to tell. So let's talk about 7 steps to build presence. Number 1, you can consider 3 to 5 key ideas you want to communicate about yourself. Number 2, complete a vision of what you want the client to learn about your service or business. Number 3, Create 3 objectives to describe the mission of your brand. Number 4, write a rationale for why you selected the visual representation for your design. Number 5, decide which platform you want to use. Number 6, set clear parameters for engagement. And number 7, form a call to action plan. So you really want to take a moment before you do anything to ask yourself, if I had to actually create a fake image of an individual who could be my target audience member, what is it that I want that person to know about the brand that I offer? And why does my offering, really meet the needs of that particular consumer? And then you really want to ask yourself, well, if I look at Instagram, which is primarily a site for you to share, your images, quotes, and maybe short films, why would I want to use Instagram? Maybe Instagram is not the best choice and you decide to use Facebook because on Facebook, you can not only put photos, but you can maybe have a longer description underneath your photo should you decide to do things with Facebook ads or to do a poll or something like that. Then Facebook may be good for you. But remember that now Instagram and Facebook can coincide with each other. So you have a lot of duality there. You also want to keep in mind the people that you are reaching out to. So some of you may already have a following. Maybe if you're a small business owner, you already have a good following. Maybe you're sending them email, inbound marketing, but you also want to think about your external prospects or people who will find you later down the road. So you want to, number 1, think about engagement. You want to ask yourself, what does my audience need? You want to really analyze this. How old are they? What do they like to buy? What are their attitudes? What are their views about the issues you're trying to solve? And then I want you to make a social media assessment. I like to call this incubation. In my company, Turning on the Lights Global, when I have a new project to work on, I think about the following. What will be my brand focus? What are the key words I need to keep in mind? Now, you do want to think about the word hashtag. These hashtags, they don't have to be obvious. Like if you have a business for t-shirts, your hashtag does not need to say t-shirt, but maybe you have something, an objective within your company that you are really excited about. Like maybe you're really committed to empowerment. So you may want to put hashtag empowerment tees. Maybe that's your hashtag. I would also say you can create a vision board. What does success look like when it comes to what people think about all of your posts online? You can find more information about what people think about your brand by surveying the audience of consumers that you have. You also want to analyze, the feedback that you get when you start asking them questions. You want to take risks and, of course, be patient. So one of the products that I created, the Women Build Confidence course, was actually partnering with a company called JD Image in London. And when I thought about this particular client, I wanted to make sure that I provided them with a course that really met the needs of those that they were serving. So here we see that individuals are focused on a target market of women, and you can see the definition and discussion here that I have about the Women Build Confidence course. You want to think about engagement and reach. When you post something, what is it that you want the audience to walk away with? In this example, here we're looking at a couple of posts that I had from one of my indie books. And so that indie book is all about reaching goals. And so here you see, images like when you are trying to grow, some people need to be given a timeout, elevate. You can see that I'm basically using images or quotes to evoke a certain level of emotion. So what are some next steps? So after you listen to this, you may want to rewatch it again. But number 1, remember, you can test social media platforms. Don't try to do everything at once. Maybe if you're already comfortable with Facebook, maybe you can actually then decide, okay, I want to try out Instagram. And when you choose that, I want you to just pick one key objective that you have. And if you had to, I want you to create 1 week's worth of a social media campaign. So if you said, okay, well, I have a blog about motherhood, then maybe you decide to show images on Instagram. And each day, I want you to come up with unique posts that you think would attract those women that understand, your story. So maybe Monday could be, mommy day, and you maybe have a post of an interaction with you and your child out at the park. And maybe on Tuesday, it can be maybe a guide for nutrition, how to, make sure your child is eating healthy and well. And then each day, try to do something unique, but keep the same theme. So if that theme for the week is, celebrating life, you can have a hashtag that says, moms celebrate, hashtag mom celebrate, or make it even shorter. And every single day, that's the same hashtag you're using, but of course you have different images. So you want to take the time to master the platform and then practice your social media engagement. See who actually responds to the post you put. See what they like. See how many likes you get or how many hearts you get. And, just have fun with it. So just try to test it out for a week. Now, if you like what's happening, then you can then add another week. So you have 2 weeks and then eventually a month. You really want to try to allow your brand to shine. So as we conclude, I want to remind you about some things. Number one, analyze your use of social media. How do you use social media right now? And how can you use social media to really bring more awareness to your company, service, or product? Number two, think about ways that you can leverage your brand. As we talked about earlier, there are billions of users using social media sites all over the world. So why not think that you can, put yourself out there and let others know about the service that you provide?